Hello, here's a quick video on how to get the data off of the SanGIS website that you may be interested in using for a project in one of your GIS classes. And this video can be used to guide you through some of the steps for downloading data off other websites, but it'll be specifically geared toward SanGIS. We'll start here on the SanGIS website where I just pulled up sangis.org, and it will start on the home page, but to access the data, we want to start by clicking on the Download Data tab. And there are two tabs, or two options in this drop-down menu, Available Layers or Regional Data Warehouse. If you just click on the tab, it'll bring you to the Regional Data Warehouse. But a great place to start understanding what's available in SanGIS is starting with the Available Layers. You can download a complete list of available layers from SanGIS. As it says, there's more than 270 data sets in the Regional Data Warehouse. The data are stored as compressed zip files, and each zip file contains a shapefile along with the metadata. To access this data, we will start by skimming through some of those 270 data sets by looking at the complete list of layers. I like to look at it in Excel because you can sort it that way and you can see a little bit more detail than on the PDF. If you just click on the Excel link, it'll download an Excel file. Looks like the one you're seeing here. Make that larger. And this will contain all of the 270 shapefiles that SanGIS has available. Make this a little larger. As you can see, it lists the layer name here. It lists the category that you'll find on the SanGIS website, the description of the layer, and the last update. So this last update will give you an idea of how current these data are. After you take a look at the list on the available layers, you can start looking for the data that you're actually interested in. If you use Excel, you can sort this data. You can use the sort and filter option to look at specific types of data. Let's say we just want a boundary file for San Diego County that I know a lot of people are interested in. A quick way to see if this data exists is just to search and find in the Excel file. So I'm holding down Control F and it's bringing up the Find Replace menu. You can also click on the Find and Select menu there as well. And I'm just going to search for boundary. I want to see what type of boundary files there are. So there are a couple of options, and we are just going to click through on Next until we come to our county boundary shapefile. This is a great place to start for our project. We do have a county boundary shapefile available at SanGIS. That's the layer name, county boundary. The category is jurisdiction. It's telling us a very brief description that it's the county boundary, and it was last updated in 2017. Now we know where these data are, excuse me, the shapefile is located, so we can head back to the SanGIS website and go to that regional data warehouse. If you click on the link in the middle of this section where it says Regional Data Warehouse, or go to the Regional Data Warehouse to get started, it will bring you to this window where you can log in if you've already created a SanGIS password, or you can register as a new user. Once you get registered, you can log in, and you are brought to the SANDAG and SanGIS GIS Data Warehouse. As you can see, there is a whole section on GIS data categories. These categories, again, correspond to what you're seeing in the Excel file for a category. So looking for our county boundary, our category is jurisdiction. And we can look through our GIS data categories for the jurisdiction category, and we can click on it. Here we can see all the available downloads within the jurisdiction catalog, and we can see the county boundary. The one we're interested in is right here at the top. And you'll notice that there are two options to download two available downloads. You have the metadata, which is a PDF that are data about the data, and the shapefile is zipped up in a zip file for download. If you think this is the layer you're interested in, but you're not quite sure, you can click on that metadata, and it will bring up a PDF of the data layer that you're interested in. So for here in our county boundary, we can see a thumbnail that's showing us the county boundary of San Diego County. It gives us a couple tags, some summaries. If you scroll down, you'll eventually find the spatial reference system, so we can see the projection that the data are in, and some other points of contact. And lastly, the fields, which will tell you what all the fields stand for in the attribute table on this data set. Of course, with our county boundary, we don't have a ton of fields because this isn't containing a lot of information, but for some of the other files, there'll be a lot of fields listed. Once we've confirmed that this is the file we want to download, or we want to look at it and look at the attribute table in more depth, then we move on to downloading the shapefile. The easiest way to go about this is to start by creating a folder on your desktop or on your flash drive where you're going to be storing all of your data sets. This is a good practice to get into before you start creating geodatabases, just to make sure all your shapefiles are in the same place. So we can create a new folder on our desktop. Then we'll go back to our SanGIS webpage. Oops. And we will go ahead and click on that shapefile zip download. This brings up our pop-up window that's telling us we've chosen to open up the zip file. You can go ahead and click on open. And I'm working in Firefox, but the steps will be pretty similar regardless of the web browser you're using. Here we can see we have opened our zip file, and we can see all of the files associated with our county boundary shapefile in this file. Next, we'll go ahead and click on Extract All Files. And we want to save our extracted zip files to our folder we just created. So we'll browse to our desktop, and we will search for our folder we just created, our GIS data demo. You may have called it final project, something like that, and we'll click OK. And this is where this shapefile will be extracted to. We'll click on extract, and it may take a moment because some of the files are quite large. And we can go to our desktop, and we'll see in our GIS data demo, we've downloaded all the files associated with the shapefile. And I have another video on how to get this data into ArcMap, but hopefully this will provide you some insight on how to work with the SanGIS data.